Hello and welcome back to my channel. This week I'm doing some eco printing with leaves and other found materials, and it didn't quite work out the way I hoped. Arigatou. すごい長い。This has been going about 5 minutes from cold, so it's about 10 minutes from cold, but it's been heated up for 5 minutes. It's already making a nice kind of green. So this is fresh maple leaves. It's day 2 and I'm going to have a look at the Momiji leaves. They've been soaking overnight, steeping overnight, and I'll show you the colour. It's pretty nice, but I think I could probably get more out of that, so I'm going to put it on for another 20 minutes or so and get something more out of it. So it's been about 20 minutes and the colour is changing a bit more. It's going a bit more intense, the Momijis. So I'm going to put some cold water in and give it a shock and see if we can change the colour a little bit. I think this colour is going to be quite mild anyway, so let's see if we can just intensify it a little bit. There we go. It has gone a little darker than before, so I'm going to leave it another 10 minutes and come back. Okay, so I've been pre-soaking my fabrics so they're really nice and wet through. I've got a few different kinds of fabric. I've got some silk, some vintage cotton, some cotton gauze, and I've got some bed sheet. It's really old, which seems to have some kind of dye on it already. I wonder if I just put some on by accident. Okay, so I'm going to put it in to the Momiji dye, and I'm not going to take the Momiji out. This is all scoured and pre-mordanted, so it's all in the pot. And I'm going to give it half an hour or so, but I can already see it's taking on some of the lovely colour. It's a really nice colour actually. It's like a yellow green. And the thing about Momiji is we have so many maple trees in Japan, so it's plentiful. There's always someone trimming a tree around here. I'm hoping to get my hands on some red Momiji as well when it's coming up to autumn, but looks like autumn's going to be really late this year, so I've got a while to wait. Okay, I'll be back soon. So it's a very windy day here in Tokyo. I think we've got a typhoon on the way. There's a lot of blowing around outside, so I'm so sorry about the noise. Okay, so today I'm going to be unveiling the Momiji. It's been sitting in here for actually 2 days now, and I'm going to show you the colour that it made. Wow, that is amazing. It's a lovely olivey green colour. I'm going to put it in this tray, and then later on I'm going to rinse it out. The cotton made a kind of light olive by the look of it. This is a really nice colour though. Going to be much lighter than this when it dries. This is just a test pot to see what I could get from the leaves. So I only did little swatches, but they're still really pretty. So I soaked this overnight in the Momiji dye bath, and it's a very, very pale lemony yellow colour. I think I could have got a darker colour than that normally, but and this is almost the same colour as it was when it went in. Even though I scoured both and mordanted both, they've come out very pale. However, I just wanted a background colour because I'm going to be doing some botanical printing next. So I'm going to go off and wet these so that they are soaked for the next part. And while they're soaking, I'm going to go into the studio garden and collect some cool looking leaves. And I'm going to experiment with which ones might leave a good print or add some colour to the fabrics. To wash the leaves that I've just got, because they've been on the trees and I don't want them to be mucky, because you never know, it might start activating some dye to be released. I'm not sure if any of these are going to put any colour on the fabric, but we're just going to try anyway. So we've got a mixture of eucalyptus and some aspidistra, and this is some kind of evergreen fern. I'm not sure what this one's called. It's a very traditional Japanese one, and it was getting really big out there, so I needed to chop it down. And a few hydrangea leaves, and also this is another traditional Japanese one that's getting a bit too big. Outside my studio, giving them all a bit of a clean. Now I'm going to dry them off and I'm going to start the next process. Okay, so I've soaked my fabric and wrung it out quite well, and I'm going to start to lay down the design first of all on this piece of silk. And now it looks like it may have touched something that had some iron water on, which I'm not too mad about because I'm hoping for some colour as well, like this from the leaves. So let's see. So now I'm going to just get my leaves that I collected from the studio garden, and I'm going to start laying them flat. I really hope these are going to work because they're so pretty. I'm happy if these leaves bleed through the fabric, but if you want to have a print that doesn't have any bleed through on the layers, you'll see what I mean in a minute, then you'll need to put a plastic layer in between. But I'm actually quite happy with an organic look, so it's just an experiment today anyway. I'm just seeing if I can actually get any colour from these leaves. I don't know. I haven't tested these yet. This is a live test. So I'm just laying them all out wherever I can. Meanwhile, the water is boiling in the kitchen. I'm actually in the studio right now. But these are going to need to be quite flat, so when you're doing it you need to make sure that the shapes are quite flat so that you get a nice flat surface, because we're going to roll this up in a minute. And this one I think is a camellia. I don't think this is going to print, but you know, we'll just try it here and there. I might do a hydrangea leaf as well, camellia, another couple of eucalyptus. I mean, it looks pretty as it is. Let's see if it prints though. That's the only problem. So the space I'm working in is quite small today, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll it up and then continue laying. Because I'm making a scarf, I want to make sure that I've got enough space, so I might just cut some of these aspidistra and see if I can get some colour from them. I just don't know if we're going to get any colour. Let's see, shall we? Just going to go abstract with these ones. Right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go from the end. You can use a dowel. It's not a dowel, I've got a piece of scrap square shaped wood. So, excuse me, it might help you roll it a little bit. I had to make mine small because my pot is small. Ordinarily I would use a round piece of dowel, but I didn't have one small enough. So I'm just going to roll, roll, roll. Just going to roll it. I'm going to move it along a bit. Right, now let's get some more leaves on the end. Trying to lay them as flat as I can. I think we're going to leave the tote bag until another day at this point because I haven't got much space in my pot. So I'm going to now lay some of these evergreens, hoping it's going to work. And then I'm just going to roll up the rest of it. Okay, and I'm going to carry on rolling until as tightly as I can to get a nice seal. Making sure not to move things too much, and then when we get to the end we'll secure it in place. I'm actually hoping that some of the pressure that I'm putting on it is going to start releasing some of the dyes from the leaves, but who knows? I don't know which ones of these are actually going to work. So this is the size of pot that I'll be using today. And now I need to make sure I get this size in there so that I can steam it. So I'm going to, I know there's an end here, so I'm going to fold that. And then I'm going to give it a good old tie around. And then I'm going to keep tying all the way along until I've got everything really tight and secure like this, because I don't want to, I want all the contact on the fabric so that the leaves will steam as much as possible. So I'm pulling it really quite tightly. I'm hoping that this is where you would use the plastic if you wanted to have one single leaf print, but I'm quite happy if it bleeds through several layers because it'll give me more chance to get some colour on the silk. And the silk that I'm using is almost discarded silk from kimono, the inside of the kimono, the lining, and it was a bit stained, so I scoured it, and it came up quite nice actually. I'm going to fold that end in too. Okay, so keep it nice and tight. I'm hoping it's going to work. It's a lot of effort if it doesn't. I've just put it in the pot, and unfortunately I couldn't use my steamer, so I'm just hoping for the best and steaming it this way, and I'll turn it around in a minute. I've put it on for 20 minutes and then I'm going to leave it to go cool overnight, and I'll be back tomorrow to see if anything at all has happened. Okay, so this is now cold, and I'm going to see if it's even worked or if I should have left it overnight. It's a bit of an experiment. That end does look a different colour than it was when it went in, so fingers crossed something's worked here. Just don't know, we just have to hope for the best. And you know what? If it doesn't work, we just over dye it with something else. That is the beauty of natural dyeing, isn't it? Let's unroll it and just see. No. I think it needs a lot longer. I think it needs a lot longer. I can see there's some kind of colours, but yeah. I don't know. It's stuck on the other side, that's why. I think some leaves are going to be better than others, put it that way. Still, some of it has come out. So maybe I just didn't leave it for long enough. Maybe it needs to be on a lighter silk. I don't know. It looks like it's worked, but it hasn't, because the leaves are all on the back. So now I've got to pick off all these leaves, and I'm now wondering if it was worth it. So I've got it all off, all the leaves off. It's difficult to say if it was a disaster or not, because the colour has changed. There's some definite colouring on the edges there. And I don't really know until it dries if it's got any colour, but I feel like it's so subtle. This has definitely worked. The results are in. I wasn't really happy with the colour of the printing from the last batch, so I've decided to grab some of my kitchen scraps, and we're going to over dye this bag and this scarf again and try and get some more colour on it this time. So I've mordanted these, as you know. They're all ready to go. They're soaked, they're really wet, and I've got some pomegranate, and I've got some avocado skins and pits, and I've also got some skins, some onion skins. I've got red onion skins, and I've got some yellow onion skins or brown onion skins, and these are going to make beautiful colour. I know these work. I've tested these before. I also found this random corn leaf or husk in my vegetable drawer, so I'm hoping that something will happen with this next go. You're also going to need some string or some kind of twine to tie around, just like we did before, and then you just need to prepare your materials by chopping them into little pieces so that you can roll them easily. Ready for round 2 of eco printing. I've got my dowel and my string ready, and I've already rolled up my fabric. Because I haven't got much space, I'm just unrolling it and rolling it as I go. So all you need to do is just lay your materials where you feel like it. As I said before, I use little bits of pomegranate that are dried. If you want to see my pomegranate dyeing videos, that's on the screen now. I'm also using bits of onion skins and basically any food scraps that I've tested before that I know dye really well. I've decided to over dye on the Momiji silk. And now I've had the pot on boiling for a little while, and I'm going to add the two different projects into the pot, and I'm just going to let them simmer for about 20 minutes or so. This time I could actually use my steamer because the bundles were a little bit smaller. After 20 minutes I'll turn it off, and then I'll just leave it to cool down overnight and let it steep and do its magic, and I'll be back tomorrow. Okay, so I've got it out of the pan and it's been in there for 24 hours, so I'm just going to reveal the colours that have happened. Now, I can already see some colours seeping through, so I'm quite hopeful. I might just trim that one there. You can use this again, so I'll just keep this aside somewhere and I can use it again. So I need to unroll my fabric. This one is the tote bag, remember? Look at that. That's really cool. Wow, look at the colours. That is really cool. Of course I need to then just discard this, although I think it would probably make quite a nice dye. So this is all the food scraps. These would have gone in the bin. So we'll see. Oh wow, look at the colours. It's really cute. Little tiny bag as well. So it hasn't, oh it has. It's gone on the other side too. It's gone right through. If you don't want it to go through, what you can do is you can put plastic. So you put your layer of material, then you put plastic, then you roll it and it will isolate it on one side. But it's done it on both sides, so I'm really happy about that. It means that I don't have to do extra work. So I'm going to rinse that in a minute and we'll let it dry and see what kind of colours we've got. So that's very successful. I'm hoping to make this into a scarf if it comes out nice enough. So let's see. It's like Christmas. It's like unwrapping a gift. And it was a free gift, right? So this kimono fabric that I'm using was actually destined for the bin and it was rescued. So somebody was clearing out a house and I was gifted it. It was about to be dumped, I think. So mottainai. The silk is fine, there's nothing wrong with it. It was just the person who was clearing out the house, I think, didn't know what to do with it. So, and it was just plain cream silk. Okay, so we've unravelled it, have we? Oh, last bit. Might have to trim the last bit. Okay, so I can use this string again when it's dry on another project, as long as I'm not bothered about any colour transfer, because there is a bit of colour on there. Or I can use this as in a project. I can make something with it, crochet or knitting. Okay, this is going to be really amazing. This is going to be amazing. I can feel it in my bones. Look at the colours. It's magic. It's magical to me. I can't explain the feeling when I see the colours, but it's just like magic. There's so much material stuck everywhere. Wow. So this should be colour fast because it is mordanted, so I'm wondering, I think we'll see more clearly when it's dry if these corn leaves actually did anything. I'm not really sure. I can't tell at the moment. They were here, so maybe nothing. Maybe they just masked the dye, I don't know. We'll be able to see a lot clearer when it's been rinsed and then when it dries. But gosh, look at that. Just from things that you would throw in the bin. So I'm really pleased with that. And now I'm going to give it a really good rinse. And then I'll probably give it a final wash as well, because it's had a lot of plant material on it. I don't want it to go mouldy, so that's what I'll do. I'll be right back. I thoroughly rinsed and then washed with detergent and then let the fabric dry, and this is what it looks like in the end. The colours are much lighter than the previous reveal. However, I'm still really happy with how it turned out and can't wait to get cracking to make it into something to wear. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the process today. It certainly was a learning experience for me, but I'm really pleased with how my fabric turned out in the end. And watch out for future videos where I'm going to turn this piece of material into an autumn scarf. See you next time.